About 6 months ago, I remember making a video sharing my own thoughts about the idea of the NHL expanding to Las Vegas and or Quebec City. And a little bit over 6 months later, as you can see by my t-shirt here, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the idea of the NHL putting an expansion franchise in Las Vegas. Now, there's a few things that I like about this move, and there's also a few things that I don't like. But I'm going to start off with what I like. Now, the first thing off the hop that I really like is that the NHL is now one team away from two balanced conferences. And I think Las Vegas is a very nice fit for that reason. Now, I'm hoping that Seattle can figure things out so that we can get an expansion team there, because I think Seattle is one of those northern U.S. markets that has not been tapped into yet for hockey, that I honestly think would do really, really well with an NHL team. I could be wrong, but I kind of think that with the success that Vancouver has had over the years, I honestly can't see Seattle not having some type of similar success. But hey, it is possible I could be wrong, but I have my doubts on that. Now, I have heard about Kansas City possibly being in the mix, but there's a couple problems. Problem number one, there has not been any legitimate ownership groups that have even come close to making a pitch to bring an NHL team to Kansas City, let alone a legitimate person or two that have actually tried to assemble an actual group of investors that the NHL could really take seriously for an expansion franchise. And the second problem is that Kansas City originally had an NHL franchise back in the 70s with the Kansas City Scouts. However, due to a lack of fans and due to poor attendance at games and just the fact that city couldn't get off the ground with a hockey team, in terms of success financially, the NHL packed their bags and left Kansas City only a few years after they entered the league. And you know what? I think the NHL probably thinks all these years later that it would be what some people have called a graveyard for hockey even 40 years later. I mean, is it possible that Kansas City could have changed after all these years? Absolutely. But until there's a serious ownership group that's willing to pony up $500 million for an expansion franchise, for all of you people out there hoping for another Kansas City NHL franchise, I think the odds of you guys getting a team in Kansas City are very, very, very low, at least for right now. Now, the second thing that I really like about Vegas getting a team is that now regular hockey fans such as myself can now go to Las Vegas, which is a major tourist hub, go there for a vacation, and also go see a hockey game. I think this is really going to sell with a lot of hockey fans. I mean, most people out there really enjoy the idea of a vacation to Las Vegas. And as a hockey fan myself, I couldn't think of a better way to enjoy a vacation than a quick getaway to Las Vegas and a hockey game to boot. And I can't say I wouldn't consider getting a group of friends and going to see a game in Las Vegas myself. I think that would be a ton of fun. And I think there's a lot of hockey fans across the NHL who feel the exact same way. Now, the third thing that I really like about this is that Las Vegas is a completely new sports market. The truth is, no professional sports league as of 2016 has ever put a franchise in Las Vegas. So I think this is going to be a really neat experiment because Las Vegas has always been known as a tourist city, not as a place for a professional sports franchise. And there's also been a huge taboo about gambling because of a lot of scandals over the years surrounding sports betting, such as infamous cases with, for example, Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, cases like that, from what I've heard over the years, they've really created a taboo about Las Vegas. So I'm very curious to see how Las Vegas does as a sports market. Not only for that reason, but just for the fact that it's mainly known as a tourist city, not as a place where there's a legitimate fan base that's assembled there. So I'm curious to see what happens there. And also, now that the NHL has broken the ice with professional sports teams in Las Vegas, no pun intended, supposedly the Oakland Raiders are actually in talks with Vegas about building a stadium in Nevada, somewhere near the Strip, to possibly relocate the Oakland Raiders because they have a very old stadium and they're, as far as I know, they've been really working hard to try and get either a new stadium in Oakland or to relocate elsewhere. So now that the NHL has broken the ice in Vegas, who knows? Maybe the NFL may be joining them shortly. With talks the way they're going right now, you never know. Now, as there are a few things that I do like about Vegas, there's also a few things that I don't like. Now, the first thing that I don't like is that I think the NHL was more worried about $500 million in their pockets rather than looking at Las Vegas as a legitimate hockey mad market. And what I mean by that is that Quebec City has always been hockey mad. I mean, they were a very good fan base for the Nordiques during their entire history in the NHL. And Quebec has some amazing hockey fans, some of the best in the entire sport. And with the amount of passion and loyalty that those fans have, as well as the new arena they just built, I kind of think this move was a bit of a slap in the face to Quebec City. But I completely understand where the NHL is coming from in terms of the Canadian dollar and the fact that once again, with Quebec City joining the NHL as a 32nd franchise, if they got an expansion team as well, the NHL would still have the Eastern Conference having 2 more teams than the West. And from a balancing standpoint, I can completely appreciate the NHL feeling that way about Quebec entering the league. But the problem I have with Vegas, though, is that I think the NHL was more worried about the glitz and glam of being the first league to plant their roots there. Because Las Vegas is not a proven sports market yet. This is actually going to tie into the second thing that I don't like about Vegas getting a team, and it's that Las Vegas is yet another desert market. And since 1996, for the most part, the Arizona Coyotes have had a tremendous amount of financial problems in Arizona. And in fact, they have come close to relocating multiple times. And they've even come close to relocating multiple times in the past 5 years. That's kind of, if you're a Coyotes fan, that must be a pretty startling fact. And I can appreciate you Coyote fans out there being very concerned about the future of Arizona, or pardon me, of the Coyotes. And I know that if I was a Coyotes fan, I would be too. And the thing with Las Vegas is that as of right now, I can't, with the track record that Arizona has had over the years, I'm I can't say I'm not a bit of a skeptic about Las Vegas and overall the state of Nevada kind of being in the same situation as Arizona, where there aren't a whole lot of people that really care about hockey. But as I say that, I know there's quite a few transplants that live right in the Las Vegas area. And from a lot of places in Canada and the northern US. And I can't see those people not getting behind a Vegas team if they're hockey fans. And there is one major advantage that Las Vegas has that I hope works out in their benefit. And it's that, unlike Arizona, and unlike the fact that the Gila River Arena is kind of on the outskirts of Phoenix and Glendale, Arizona, which is kind of the outskirts of Phoenix, right? The advantage that Las Vegas has is that not only is it right in the heart of Las Vegas, just off the strip, Las Vegas is such a huge tourist hub, and where maybe Nevada may not have as many people that really care about hockey as a lot of the northern US and Canadian markets do, where they don't have that and where they may be and probably will be lacking in the fan base department, they will have all sorts of hockey fans from the NHL's other 30 cities that will probably make their way to Las Vegas. And I think that where maybe if the Nevada fan base isn't very big, I think all the fan bases with people that are willing to travel to Las Vegas to see a game will more than make up the void that there could be as a result of a small fan base in Nevada. And I think that is something that a lot of people underestimate about Vegas. And I hope that it does work out for Las Vegas. I really do. And I also hope the same for you Arizona fans out there. Like, I can honestly appreciate you guys really being quite on the fence about your franchise and being worried about the team even, how do I say this? I can totally appreciate you guys being really concerned about whether Arizona's going to live to see another season or not. I mean, thankfully the ownership situation has, or appears to have been figured out for now, but as I say that, for how long though? I just hope that Arizona can turn things around. I mean, I feel bad for fan bases that lose their teams. I really do. But anyways, moving on to those two things that I didn't really like about Las Vegas getting a team. The third thing that I didn't like about Vegas getting a team is that Quebec City was snubbed. Now, I do get the NHL's reasoning behind it, but I feel that Quebec has such a great fan base. I really, really want to see them make a comeback, because there are multiple fan bases and multiple teams in the NHL that just have not been doing very well in terms of attendance and in terms of fan support, and Quebec City would have all of that and more. I mean, they have some of the best hockey fans out there, and I really hope they get a team again. And the one other reason I don't like Vegas getting an NHL expansion franchise is that with the expansion draft, there are many good players that are going to get pulled out of the teams they're playing for right now to join this new Vegas team. And what concerns me is that they could pull the one or two players that certain teams out there in the NHL right now need in order to be competitive and in order to be a Stanley Cup competitor. And when these guys make their expansion draft next year in 2017, it could be the difference between a team winning the Stanley Cup and a team not even making the Western or Eastern Conference final. I mean, it's true. And the thing is, I'm sure most of the... Actually, never mind. I know that the really good players on the teams will be protected. But just because you can protect your best players doesn't mean you will be able to protect all of your good players. So that's also something to keep in mind, and that's something I really don't like about Vegas getting a team. Though I understand the NHL wanting Vegas to be competitive and have an actual shot at competing with the NHL's other 30 teams. I respect it, but it doesn't mean I necessarily like it, because it will be at the expense of my favorite team. And it will be at the expense of many other teams as well. Not just my team, or not just teams like Chicago and Pittsburgh. It will affect everybody. Now, as for a team name, I hear that Black Knights is what Bill Foley, the owner, the head owner of the Vegas franchise, wants. But I don't like the name Black Knights. But, as I say that, with the Excalibur Hotel being a medieval-themed hotel on the Strip, which happens to just be across the street from the new T-Mobile Arena that this new Vegas team will be playing in, I personally would really like to see this team be called the Las Vegas Knights. I think it would be a really good name. And with Excalibur across the street from this new arena, I think it would be an awesome touch. And it would be a really good nod to the Vegas Strip while not being too controversial or being too taboo or too generic or gimmicky. Like, I know names like the Aces and Blackjacks have been thrown around, and personally, I love the name Blackjacks myself. But the problem is that where there's Black Knights and Blackjacks that are up in the air right now, they're both similar to the Black Hawks. And I just can't see that either option working out. Now, another name I've heard get suggested was the Las Vegas Vultures. Now, I personally really like that name as well. And the reasoning for that is because it's different. I haven't heard of a hockey team called the Vultures. And I have yet to hear of a professional sports franchise called the Vultures. And you know what? I think it would be uniquely Vegas, and Vegas is in the Mojave Desert. So I think a name like Vultures would be a really nice tie-in as well. And it would be something different. And as much as I would like a really exclusively Vegas nickname like the Blackjacks, personally, I think the two top choices, in my opinion, would be the Las Vegas Knights or the Las Vegas Vultures. They both roll off the tongue really well, and they both have good connections to Las Vegas without playing on the gambling and casino themes. I know they're the same thing, but my bad. I know they're the same thing, but I know a lot of people aren't necessarily interested in the idea of having a new NHL team name that plays on their whole iconic gambling theme. And I can also see the NHL not wanting that either. So I would, if I had my way, it would be either the Knights or the Vultures. Now, I do know one thing about Vegas. According to Bill Foley, he has said that he wants the color scheme of the new team to be black, gray, and gold. And with Pittsburgh thankfully going back to their retro jerseys full time starting next season in the 2016-17 season, it makes me wonder if Las Vegas will adopt the Vegas gold color that Pittsburgh has had since the early 2000s. So that will be a case of wait and see. But as I say that, I kind of think black, gray, and Vegas gold would be a little bit of a boring color scheme. But as I say that, with the right uniforms, I think it could actually look really good. But I'm hoping that Vegas elects to go with a yellow gold rather than Vegas gold. But it is called Vegas gold, so I would completely understand Vegas wanting to go with that. But overall, to finish this video, I think that Las Vegas is a good move. And personally, I'm really happy about it. I mean, not only does that give the NHL another Western franchise, and gets the NHL one more team away from two balanced 16-team conferences, it also gives us hockey fans far and wide an awesome place to travel to for a quick vacation and a chance to see our favorite teams on the road. And better yet, on vacation. Anyways, that's it for this video. And as for the next video I'm working on, it's going to be about the jerseys that have been unveiled so far as of the draft. And it will be a throwback to my very first video on YouTube. So that's going to be a fun video, at least for myself. So anyways, until my next video, as I always say, take care and bye for now. And welcome to the NHL, Las Vegas. It's going to be real interesting to see a team in Vegas. And I'm really looking forward to it. Anyways, take care and best of luck, Vegas. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys with an NHL franchise. Anyway, take care. Bye for now.